Would you believe that Curses 5-0'd in 2026? I wouldn't, but it did, and here we are. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and I've got a couple of tricky decks to brew at the top of my queue, so I'm going to use today to do a dealer's donation deck list while I do a little bit of thinking to get ready for the next couple of leagues. So thank you, Alan, to giving me some flexibility to play this sweet 5-0 deck list. So this comes from notable Legacy brewer punishing waterfalls, and this is honestly a wild one. Let's start with the black cards. Curse of Misfortunes is a powerful thing that will win the game given a little bit of time. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get to search for a curse card that doesn't have the same name as a curse attached to enchanted player, put it onto the battlefield attached to that player, and then shuffle. And there's some neat things that you can do here. This deck is playing 4 curses. First is Curse of Death's Hold to shrink creatures. This one does not seem that good on the surface. However, with Overwhelming Splendor, it's pretty sweet. So, all creatures enchanted players control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1. Pretty easy to see the combo there. In addition to that, enchanted player can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. So this shuts off a ton of things. And if that isn't winning you the game, Cruel Reality is the thing that literally will put you over the edge here. So at the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, they sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. If they can't, they lose 5 life. And in addition to that, you also have the Screw Your Cantrips 1, Curse of Fool's Wisdom. When enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life, and you gain 2 life. This is attached to a Cloudpost shell, which is not something that I have seen before. I have played this deck with a pile of Ancient Tombs or Dark Rituals or City of Traders, but I have not tried it with Cloudpost before. As it turns out, Planar Nexus plus Urza's Tower, and there is a 4th one ever so slightly off screen, are just powerful cards. And when you have the ability to power out the One Ring, or Karn the Great Creator, Chalice of the Void, Trinisphere, Kozilek's Command with its absolutely busted flexibility, you can do a lot. And this deck is also playing the kind of pseudo board wipe Eldrazi Confluence in an entire playset. So the deck building here is kind of wild, and I like pretty much all of it. The one thing I'm not really a fan of is Takenuma. I hate this card. I feel like it is worse than Basic Swamp in just about every case. It does technically have the ability to return Karn the Great Creator. We will give it a shot, and I will meme on this card every time that it gets wastelanded or is worse than Basic Swamp. The sideboard is solid, but relatively unexciting. We are playing a Karn Wish package, so we have largely singletons here that answer our problems. We do get to play a couple of black sideboard cards, though, since we do have a fair amount of black mana, and keep in mind that Planar Nexus can also filter into black. Now, you might have Cloudpost, but do you have your curses? If you don't, consider shopping at toamagic.com. When you do, you get free shipping, and if you use promo code ThrabenU to let them know that I sent you, you'll also save 5% on your order. This reminds me, I have a deck that I need to finish and order some cards for. It's fine, I've got till MagicCon Vegas. With that being said, let's battle. Okay, opening hand doesn't have enough mana for my liking. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. Second verse, same as the first. Going to 5. Okay. Ugin is going back. 1 curse goes back. This is a rough start for us. I'm going to be down a little bit of clock. I got a phone call right as I started queuing. Whoops. Scalding Tarn. All right, Basic Swamp. We'll take it. I think I'm going to use this the turn that I play the One Ring. By not playing Ancient Tomb this turn, if I draw another Ancient Tomb next turn, I'm missing out on casting one of these cards. I think I'm going to assume versus blue fetch land that things don't necessarily go my way through some amount of Daze, Force of Will, Force of Negation, discard, Bowmasters, whatever. I think I'm just going to settle in for a slightly longer game. We will use Urborg as our bait card for the first Wasteland. I think keeping the Ancient Tomb around for longer certainly matters here. And if all my lands survive, and I end up keeping both Urborg and Ancient Tomb, as the game goes on, I can stop tapping this for 2, and instead tap this for a single black. If we reach the end of turn 3 and my opponent doesn't put a threat in play yet, I might start thinking that they are something like Doomsday. That is a combo deck. We jamming? I think we're jamming. Which one? Karn is better if my opponent is combo. I think I'm going to play the One Ring since I have 2 of them. Is good enough to get a response. You've got it. That is a hard cast Daze. You bet. Still a little ambiguous exactly what my opponent is playing. We could easily get smacked around by a Murktide Regent this turn. Blue-black Show and Tell? Dude, Show and Tell put in Curse of Misfortune is fucking hot. Please don't have Omniscience. So we attach that to you. You may absolutely Atraxa. Please don't Brazen Borrower me. Okay, there is Omniscience in this deck. So there's that. Omniscience, Brainstorm, Emrakul, Flooded Strand, not Force of Will. So let's go get a curse. It was honestly pretty hilarious. I think Overwhelming Splendor is the first one, so Omniscience, Emrakul nonsense doesn't end up wrecking me. Yeah. 1/1 Atraxa, no abilities. I did draw the Curse of Fool's Wisdom just now. My opponent opted not to take Force of Will. That might just mean they have another counterspell. I think my curse just solos this game, so I don't know how much it matters what I cast, but I'm kind of into having an Ensnaring Bridge as well. Oh, there's a Karn. Okay, they are looking for counter magic. There is a Daze. That's fine. Don't imagine we die to being attacked by 1/1s. Flooded Strand, tapping for black. Negative. Alright, cantripping first instead. Sending in for 1 with an Atraxa. Alright, very nice. Let's get another curse. Cruel Reality is fantastic. Curse of Deathhold, also totally reasonable to do here. I think I'm into Cruel Reality. Drawn Eldrazi Confluence, which I don't care about a lot. Oh, are we done? Yeah, that lag burst means that we are done. GG's. Did I resolve a spell? I don't think I resolved a spell this game. Yeah, countered. Those are the only 2 things I cast after my mulligan to 5. How's that for YouTube thumbnail bait? Win a game without even casting a spell! I don't know that I'm sideboarding too much. Don't exactly view Eldrazi Confluence as strong here, though. Alice is probably fine. Kozilek's Command can do some things if my opponent has a Reanimation pivot as part of their deck, or can just answer Bowmasters or Barrowgoyf or whatever else is justifying their black. Let's see if I can get rid of these. Disruptor Flute for Show and Tell seems fine. I want to be able to tutor for Bridge. Metamorph is cute. It's definitely niche, but copying their giant creature or copying their Bowmasters is okay. Copy One Ring or... yeah, not too many other things to copy. I'm not happy with my last couple of slots here. I'll play 1 Metamorph, because it's really funny if it works. Yeah, this is fine. I hate this, but I guess I can put it in off a Show and Tell. How crazy is it for me to get white double planar Nexus while also having at least like 8 mana? Thoughtseize is good. Thoughtseize lets my opponent know all of the bullshit that is coming. Opponent has opted to take my Chalice. Bowmasters is fine. I think that means I just play basic Swamp here. Brainstorm before Bowboy can come down. And a fetch land follow-up. You bet. Ooh. Wow. That's a decision. I think I'm into the 3-ball. It's kind of a must Force of Will or must counter card. And it makes it more likely that one of my bombs like this will resolve later. Underground Sea comes back down. Another Thoughtseize. Opponent kind of has like 2.5 must answer cards. They are taking the Bowmaster. Totally fine with this. So there's Chalice on 1 as a top deck, which will be played around soft counter magic. See what you got. And sign. Opponent has 3 cards left. Cameo. that dies to Eldrazi Confluence, which is fine by me. There's a Cloudpost. I guess I'm going to do this now so my opponent can't, like, brainstorm into another consign. So we're going to kill one creature, get 2 spawns. Let's try that. There was a Daze. That's fine. We're maybe set up for Curse of Misfortunes to resolve. My opponent has answered 1 card of mine per turn cycle so far, which is crazy. Like, that's incredible in terms of consistency. Sick. I think I just Kozilek's command Tamiyo when my opponent goes to crack the clue. All right, fantastic. Kozilek's command, exile a creature. I think I will scry and draw a card. Yeah. I'm going to take 2, leave 1 to pay for days. We will do this for 3. Those are cards. I think we're just good with all of that. Although maybe I should change the order so that I have a 1 ring in hand. 3rd land drop comes down. Opponent fetches. All right, there's a Barrowgoyf. Not unexpected. Curse answers that. If Curse resolves, I think I am into shutting off Force of Will here. My opponent has used 2 dazes already. And then jamming the 1 ring. 3rd daze, fuck you. Not this time. Draw. That gets me another 1 ring. And now, hopefully, I'm just good from here. I could use a little bit more mana. May absolutely attack me with your Barrowgoyf. 0 damage resolves. Stock up. All right. Take a little from the 1 ring. Do I have a Glimmerpost in this deck, by the way? I do. That sort of thing matters here. Oh, yes. That is an on-cast trigger. That stabilizes the board. I think I'm game. Another consign would be rough. I think if my opponent does not have consign, this just wins on the spot, and it needs to be like replicated consign. A little more mana, I could chalice first. I guess the replicated copy is still a problem there, but I do lose to consign. Consign, do this, 6 damage, +2, dead. That is, in fact, a replicated consign, and that is the 7th card type there, so I will die to that. GG. Opponent needed the 2nd consign. I guess I can play around the 1st consign better by shoving Curse of Misfortunes rather than playing Disruptor Flute. I had other decisions there. Knowing now that my opponent appears to not so much be on the show and tell plan in the post sideboard configuration, I think I'm fine getting all of the Eldrazi Confluences back in there, just as ways to kill Tamiyo. I could metamorph for Barrowgoyf. Eldrazi Confluence also kind of deals with Barrowgoyf. I blink it for a turn, make a couple of spawns that blanket for other turns as well. Are we playing enough mana? How many lands are we on? 24. Do we need more? I feel like I just die if I don't draw more mana. Let's ship this. I sure am not lining up any of my cheaty mana stuff with any of these draws. I don't have colorless for Kozilek's command here. I can either go to 5 or keep something and hope that it works out. I think I'm going to keep this and hope that it works out, but I am upset. So, reluctant keep. Get rid of the 7 drop that I am nowhere near doing. Opponent also keeps a 6-card hand. I will just drop a swamp and pass. Misty, pass, sure. 3rd Kozilek's command that I cannot cast. Stonks. Let's play a Glimmerpost this turn. That way, if I rip another another colorless land, I can cast a Kozilek's command for X equals 1 and at least cycle it. Doing nothing with the Surveil land. Ancient Tomb. Alright, well, I have 3 different removal spells in hand. Will I get the mana to use them is an entirely different question. 1 ring, not what I am looking for. I have 5 uncastable cards in hand. Barrowgoyf will solo this game. Stock up. There's a fetch land. Barrowgoyf self-scales here. I'll take 2 this turn. Probably somewhere on the order of 4 next turn. Wow, didn't grow at all. Get another land and another sorcery. Okay, that is a live card, but absolutely not what I am looking for. Opponent fetches and then passes. I think they've got a Brainstorm. I'm going to cast this now, even though I do think they have the Brainstorm. And they do. Like, this card is just a problem. So keeping my opponent from finding a Tamiyo, another Goyf, a Murktide Regent matters. So this is a 4. We're just going to ping face there. Opponent to 15. I will just go ahead and block so it doesn't connect. Sure. 3 mana. Another one? Oh, no, it is a Bowmasters for my Bowmasters. Again, I have 3 removal spells for creatures, and it is unclear whether or not I will ever be able to cast them. Urza's Tower. 4 drops are castable. I think I begin here. Let's exile a creature and make a spawn. And I think I play around days here. Oh no, I can't play around days. X has to be 2. Alright. C'est la vie. I really need to take out the Bowmasters first and use the bonus mana to go into Barrowgoyf second. Alright, are we getting consigned? I am. This kills relatively quickly. It is 7 damage as of right now. Barrowgoyf getting some kindred value. So 7 damage. Barrowgoyf triggers. Misses. Oh, wow. Opponent does have show and tells. I would have guessed that they pivoted off of that entirely. Maybe they just physically can't. Thoughtseize is not great for me. It makes any force of will that is in my opponent's hand so much better. I've lost the One Ring. I think Kozilek's Command is better than the One Ring right now. Alright, there is Takenuma. Hello. So, opponent presumably would have dazed my spell last time if they had daze. This is the one that is dealing me significantly more damage. I think I am going after Barrowgoyf. Let's try to take it out. It is Force of Negation. Sure. That is another Thoughtseize, which is my out to Barrowgoyf. Ponder. I am taking 8. I am at 4. Even if I answer the Barrowgoyf now, the Bowmaster that is already on board. My opponent has declined to use that card. So I have 2 mana after I cast this Karn. I mean, I'm going to cast it and see if it resolves. I don't think I have an out, even if it does. Don't have enough for a Metamorph. Yep. Okay, no, I'm just dead. I don't think I really cast my spells effectively in any of those 3 games. The game that I won, I didn't cast any spells in. I hope that this is not an indication of how this league is going to go. But we did not do unfair mana things at all. GG. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. So I cannot cast 3 of the spells in my hand. I don't think I am supposed to keep this hand. Okay, there's a more unfair hand. I am fine with this. And then we decide which one of these I play. With my opponent going to 4 cards, do I play a Chalice on 0 on turn 1? Yeah. I think this is a respectfully, like, fuck you, oops all spells player play. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. 17. Dark Ritual. Am I going to lose to oops all spells on turn 1 after making a called shot that my opponent was oops all spells? Fuck this deck. We're out of here. Anyway, if you want to know why I feel like that deck should not belong in Legacy, this is a great example of that. There was no game. All right. Disruptor Flute is fine. Grafdigger's Cage is fine. I can board in Fairy. I probably leave Tormod's Crypt in the board as my thing to wish for. I probably get rid of Bowmasters. I probably get rid of Eldrazi Confluence. Curse of Fool's Wisdom is not exactly great either. Anything else that interacts with Goblin Charbelcher? I already have Disruptor Flutes that do that. Karns do that naturally as well. Alright. I don't have something like Leyline of the Void here, which is brutal. Well, I can Chalice on 0 and Chalice on 1 on turn 1 and hope that that works. This is yet another hand where my mana is not functional. How many lands does actual Cloudpost play? 25 or 26 is more common than 24. I wonder if we've shorted mana in this deck. All right, opponent does keep the 7. Chalice of the Void on 0. Chalice of the Void on 1. All right, tapped land. Opponent passes the turn. I will cycle a Kozilek's Command. Yeah. Miss. Disruptor Flute, I guess, can go on Goblin Charbelcher next turn. Next land drop. Undercity Informer in play. Shutting that off first. Probably shutting that off first. Glimmer Post. There's Disruptor Flute. Informer is off. There's another land drop. The things like Poxwalkers are just live to beat me in the face now. At what point do I need to not cast spells because I will die to this attacking me for 2? I think I'm just going to draw a card and make a spawn sorcery speed here. I just want to bridge to something. Land is fine. That does allow me to make my land drop. So then I can go into Curse of Misfortunes on the next turn. Unless my opponent plays out a Charbelcher this turn. All right, take 2, down to 9. Eldrazi Confluence. Could kill this, make 2 spawns. I could still play a Trinisphere. I can also just play this Curse, and the Curse solos the remainder of the game. I think that's better, because Overwhelming Splendor stops Charbelcher and the creature beatdown. Or if my opponent just plays another Poxwalkers. Down to 5. Curse. Yes. Overwhelming Splendor. Drew another Curse. I think I'm just not tapping Ancient Tomb here. I guess I should not F6 in case I need to cast the Eldrazi Confluence in the case of some very bizarre emergency. Opponent discards a Dread Return. I will say yes here. We'll get Curse of Death's Hold immediately. Wipe my opponent's creature. There's a Glimmer Post. I don't mind that. There's a Trinisphere just in case something weird happens. All right, we do this again. Reality kills faster. I think I'm just going to do Curse of Fool's Wisdom, though. 1 ring is fine. I think I am okay to cast a spell. Go ahead and cast a Karn the Great Creator. We'll go ahead and plus on a Disruptor Flute. That lag burst means we're done. GG's. I still almost lost despite that number of hate cards. 4 life is a scary point to stabilize at. Really 2 life if I didn't draw a second Glimmer Post. All right, do I want to change anything? I think I just outright lose the game where I'm on the draw. I just can do almost nothing when my opponent is on the play. It's just fairy. So I kind of need to count on my opponent's deck just shitting itself, which admittedly it does do sometimes. I could play Toxic Deluge over Eldrazi Confluence to help with backup plan of beatdown. Eldrazi Confluence and Toxic Deluge both don't seem super good. This is yet another land that does not have functional mana. Like, this would be a mulligan beyond that, but holy crap, I feel like we need more lands. All right, my opponent is starting on 7, which probably means that I am dead. This has tapped Cloudpost on 1, Glimmer Post on 2, gain 2 life, 1/2, 3 mana, Trinisphere. I have Kozilek's Command as a backup thing to do. I'm going to say that this is acceptable. I just lose to any turn 1 combo attempt that my opponent has. I'm going to hope that they just like Thoughtseize me on 1, take the Trinisphere, and then I have this to cover the graveyard from turn 2 and on. All right, a Duress effect takes Trinisphere. Let's see if we draw something reasonable. I mean, that's not the worst. Lotus Petal, LED. Died a Charbelcher with Graveyard Hate? Nope. Okay, cool. Chalice of the Void. I think I'm into Chalice on 1 to stop Dark Ritual into Charbelcher, activate, die. Let's do tapped Cloudpost, Chalice on 1. This also protects my hand from discard. Cabal Ritual instead. All right, it is a Spy. So maybe we can thread the needle with a Fairy Macabre, but my opponent does have mana. All right. Is there Memory's Journey? There is not a visible Memory's Journey. If there is no Memory's Journey, I take out Oracle, I take out Dread Return, and I think we're done. If Memory's Journey is in hand and my opponent, like, sacks this for green, that's bad. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Alright. Oracle, Red Return. We win. This, in fact, brings me no joy. Game. Alright. Opening hand actually has mana in it. Opponent has Windswept Heath and a Scythecat Cub avatar. Are you playing Scythecat Cub? Very possibly. Dryad Arbor. I have a removal spell for that will be live on turn 2. I also have more other removal spell that will be live on turn 2. I will just pass the turn here. Rainstorm from the opponent. Don't love seeing a Wasteland here. That's why I played Tower out first. I do have 2 of them, and the Planar Nexus contributes to the count for things like Cloudpost as well. Basic Swamp. I don't know if I am always playing Bowmasters next turn. I think I'm just going to play the Tower. The basic Swamp would keep me from getting Wastelanded, but I lose the flexibility to do like Kozilek's Command or the One Ring instead. It feels like I just need to not die. Burrow, sure. I'm slightly less concerned about dying to something like a Natural Order now. Shove the One Ring. Use that to bait Counterspell. Resolve this. Win with this. I think I like the immediacy of that. It basically requires Force of Will, blue card, Force of Will, blue card. Oh, shit. Just resolved. Fully was not expecting that. Now maybe next turn I snipe Uro out of the graveyard with Kozilek's Command. 4 mana. What? Oh, Ice Tail Explorer. Yeah, you got it. Does this give an extra land drop? Yes, it does give an extra land drop. Oof. That's brutal. Alright. So I'll lose some to the One Ring. I don't have, like, artifact mana here, unfortunately. Ice Tail Explorer double Wasteland was not on my bingo card of things I had to be worried about. Alright, basic Swamp, pass. Next turn I have 3 mana. I can take a Wasteland out. 4 mana again. Oh god, there is the Natural Order. Okay. Okay. It's funny because if I don't get double Wastelanded, I can totally beat a fucking Progenitus. But I did get double Wastelanded. So I don't think I can now. Like, without artifact mana or additional land drops, it just doesn't seem realistic from here. Sure. Like, take 14, really 16, plus 1 ring damage. I think I'm just done here. Ice Tail Explorer looking good there. GG. Conceptually, I think I'm into Toxic Deluge. Chalice still stops cantrips. Could board in Grafdigger's Cage. It feels like I just need to hit land drops, get established, and then a curse solos the game. Or an Ugin, or Karn Bridge is pretty good as well. Maybe I shift away from Chalice, play main deck Disruptor Flute, aggressively naming Wasteland, and have these to clean up creatures. If I don't have Chalice, Grafdigger's Cage is probably more reasonable than Trinisphere type stuff. Can board in a Walking Ballista as a removal spell for things like Dryad Arbor. And how's the Clone? I'll play the Clone. Reasonable. Assuming I don't get Wastelanded, I have the One Ring or Eldrazi Confluence on turn 2. And I have 3 land drops here. And a Cloudpost backup plan if this does get Wastelanded. Hey. Alright. Well, this Cloudpost will end up casting the One Ring. Misty, sure. But no follow-up play. This is only 3 mana, so I'm not doing anything cool here. Stop it. Okay, they took Planar Nexus. I guess I'm happy with that. Bowmasters is fine. That is castable. But maybe my opponent will do an end-of-turn Brainstorm and I do a Bowmasters and it's like super cool and sexy. Wouldn't it be nice if something broke my way? Windswept Heath. Brainstorm. We filter and then do Bowmasters. Is it actually going to happen? Oh, it does. Very nice. Will I end up killing my own Orcish Bowmasters with a Toxic Deluge later? Hard to say. Hard to say. Face with all of those. 15, 5 power in play. That's the dream. That does not actually happen very often in Legacy. Fetching into a Green Sun. That's exactly what I was just talking about. Land drop. I mean, that'll do. Exile a creature, make a spawn. Goodbye, Dryad Arbor. 5 damage in. 9. I do have enough mana to cast the One Ring, or to cast a Curse of Misfortunes if I do hit a land drop. Badger, Mole, Cub. Yes. This will make 2 mana for another Badger, Mole, Cub. Hello? The lands return untapped. Tapped. I think I'm going to kill 2 and make a spawn. Banking that mana matters a lot. I'm going to confirm that I just cast that correctly. Target 1, target 2. Alright, there go both Badger Mole Cubs. I will hit my opponent for 5 more damage. Down to 4. There's a Green Sun or a Halfling. Sure. So I could kill my opponent's Halfling and turn their lands into not lands. Or I can just cast the One Ring. I'm so choked on mana. If I Toxic Deluge, I have to lose my Eldrazi token, and I also lose my Bowmasters. But I am terrified of losing to just natural order. My opponent has a green creature there. I think I'm going to Deluge. This will be paying 2 life. Note that this is not a lethal attack with the 4/4, because I shrink my own creature by 2. Alright, we win that one. Absolutely stumbling over my mana. I don't think I am changing anything about sideboarding. Again, I would just like to get to Curse of Misfortunes level of mana. That is Overwhelming Splendor in hand, which is incredibly awkward. That is 2 of my good curses in hand. I have 3 lands, which is great, but I don't have a turn 3 Toxic Deluge. And I have 2 cards that I don't want to draw in hand. I think I just ship this one. I am rewarded with a bunch of mana, so I probably just keep. Get rid of 1 Ancient Tomb here. So much of this feels like it comes down to, does my opponent have a Wasteland? Well, alright. Land drop, pass. Okay, no end of turn Surveil land or anything. No Wasteland. Super cool. So maybe Karn ends up baiting a counterspell, and then I resolve the curse, and the curse solos the game. I would like that. Ooh. More other backup curse. Attempt Karn. Consign. You've got it. We've got Brainstorm on my opponent's turn. Wasteland is good. I have duplicates of both of my lands, though. Eldrazi Confluence as well. I think I'm just going to play another Urza's Tower here. Well, is that true? If my opponent Wastelands me, I just make a bunch of tokens. Black mana is a bottleneck, but casting this to remove one of my opponent's things is pretty good. Very awkward. Alright, not Wasteland. That fetches. That is a Badger Mole Cub. Resolves. I think this is the point where I just kill the Badger Mole Cub so that this does not make an extra mana this turn. So, kill a dude, make 2 spawns. I could be way greedier with this spell. Ooh, this was good enough for a Force of Will. I'm super happy about that, honestly. Like, that is something that is not going after Curse of Misfortunes, which feels like a pretty big deal. Alright. 4+3, immediate Ensnaring Bridge. Good. There's Karn. Karn minus. Say yes. There's Ensnaring Bridge, which I will cast for 3 mana. And yes, I know that this Karn is going to die. That doesn't matter. I'm just trying to keep from getting run over by natural order if my opponent has natural order into something like Hoof here. If they natural order into something like Atraxa instead, that's still bad. Fuck this Wasteland fucker. Ah! Yes. I have both Disruptor Flutes in my deck right now so that I can't wish for one. Sure do. Oh, I'm also going to get my Karn attack for 3. Wow, I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose to Ice Till Explorer 2 games in a row. That takes out the Wasteland, I guess. Let's bank mana here. So exile and spawn. Use Wasteland. Only going to have mana for 1. Take out that Wasteland. Alright, and now I have a spawn. I need a black source for Curse of Misfortunes. Windswept Heath. My opponent will eventually find another land for Ice Till Explorer. Raxa. Swords on my token. Now I need 2 mana sources. Double Curse of Misfortune in hand means that my opponent's entire board gets to attack. Alright. Down to 10. Copy Ice Till Explorer. There's a Planar Nexus from Graveyard. I will mill a card. There's a probably second Planar Nexus from Graveyard, honestly. Phyrexian Metamorph here. Try to dig my ass out of this. I need my opponent to not find a Wasteland, and they get a couple more fetch lands to do that. But I just need to stick this with enough time to not die before my next upkeep. Alright, so they're going to Hedge Maze. That's supposed to be done in the other order. You just mill the card and then Surveil. This is not optional. Yeah. Well, I guess the sword ends up in Graveyard either way there. Alright. Okay. Opponent fetches. Mills. Uro. Hate that. No, do I? I don't know that I hate that, actually. Uro does not attack into Ensnaring Bridge right now. Okay. Uro is a redraw, though. 17. No additional land drop. More spells. Green Sun. Is there a disenchant effect? Ooh, my opponent has conceded. Oh, I thought we were dead to Ice Till Explorer, but it turns out that my opponent was dead to Ice Till Explorer. Wow. GG's. What an odd match. All right, I don't love my opening hand, but I have 4 lands and 3 spells. I don't love double Ancient Tomb. I don't love Planar Nexus without any of the fun things to pair with it, but I think I just accept this. Creature deck. Eldrazi. Sure. My hand is not good against this. That is fine. Thank you for using your Lotus Petal on something other than a creature. That just worked out very well for me. Oh, shit. What a draw. What a draw. Fast turn. Is that what we have to do to win? Be a luck sack? Just Yu-Gi-Oh! Heart of the Cards, Urza's Tower every time. Okay, did not get Wastelanded. All day. All day. So happy did not get Wastelanded. That is such a big deal. So now I get 4 mana. I can Kozilek's Command, remove this, make 2 more mana for the following turn. That's another one. Pawns. Goodbye, creature. I feel like I am just getting away with murder by my opponent not using that Wasteland. Oh, no follow-up land either. Okay. Sick. I love it. Big Kozilek's Command immediately. I think I'm into that. Maybe medium-sized Kozilek's Command immediately. I'm going to pay into it like this, but leave the ability to cast a spell afterwards. Ooh. No to Ancient Tomb. Another Kozilek's Command. Just say no. Say yes to this. Play Swamp, pass, have Bowmasters for this turn, 1 ring for the following turn. Next 3 land drops secured. I think I messed up. Oh, never mind. I think that's the land you hit in this spot. Float mana. Cast Bowmasters. I'm just going to end up reassembling my engine. Yeah, I think I was supposed to play Planar Nexus. Maybe not true. Alright, another Secluded Courtyard comes down. 2 mana, Wastegate Battle Mage, which would be an answer to this. Planar Nexus. 1 ring. Protection from everybody. I'm going to play a Chalice on 0 to stop Lotus Petal from being live. And just pass here. And I assume the 1 ring is just cruise control for cool. Right, opponent passes, not having lands. I will draw. Glimmer Post is fine. Pick up a few extra points of life. Am I at enough to just cast this? 3, 4, 5. So I have 6 mana, but not 6 and double black. So in that case, let's just go to Punchies. Punchies on in. Opponent blocks Bowmasters. Opponent doesn't block. Opponent blocks. 1 and 2. Bowmasters. Ping your Duder. So I clear the board, dealing 2 damage to you. I'm fine throwing down a Trinisphere on the off chance that it makes my opponent's life more awkward. Alright, opponent just does not have mana. I am drawing all my big curses. Oh, that's an Ugin. That's pretty hot. Yeah. 14. I'm just going to kind of hope that my opponent concedes to this Ugin going on the stack. I will not exile my own permanents, thank you. Alright, opponent did not concede. Gain 3 life, draw a card. Okay, opponent did concede. I succeeded in not showing them the curses there in a game that I was already winning by a landslide. So, if my opponent wastelands me early on, they maybe set me back a turn or two, but I ended up with a couple extra ancient tombs in that hand. I don't know that they fully end up stopping me. All right, I would, if possible, like to board out Chalice of the Void and Trinisphere. Deluge is fine. Disruptor Flute on Wasteland is fine. Metamorph is bearable. The other things from there are a little sketch. Like, Cityscape Leveler is very expensive. It is a powerful effect. I might just board this in and treat Karn as the ensnaring bridge machine. I'm gonna keep one in the sideboard. Then I can tutor for removal. I'll play Walking Ballista as something that might save me a point or two of life, and call that fine. This is a reasonable mix of lands and spells that do nothing. I can cast 0 of my spells here. I do not have time to fart around in this matchup. My opponent will kill me dead. This is fine. The second Ancient Tomb's a little rough. This solos the game if I have enough health to make it back to my following turn, which I'm not sure if I do if I play Karn immediately. I'm clicking the keep button. I'm going to get rid of Karn. The big downside of that is Thought-Knot taking Curse of Misfortunes. I don't have a good backup, but this allows me to play some minimal amount of removal, and this can bridge me to Curse of Misfortunes maybe earlier than I otherwise might. Line Breaker immediately. Seems good. I will eat 4 damage. Cityscape Leveler. Don't quite have the mana for you, boss. Pass turn. See if I just get soloed by Eldrazi Linebreaker. 4 mana. Yep. Ooh. That's a lot of damage. So I take 10 this turn. Toxic Deluge? Toxic Deluge. Fuck. Due to the trample, I don't think I live through another turn. They just do it on here, and then I'm done. Alright, next game. Let's do one of those where we're on the play. In the episode of the Eternal Glory podcast that I recorded last night, we talked about how in the current metagame you either want to grind things out with Tamiyo or a long time, or you just want to kill your opponent before they have any chance to accumulate card advantage. That's a great example of why people are playing Eldrazi over something like Moonstompy right now. The goldfishes are absurd. Donde está lands? Okay, there's lands. I think Cruel Reality goes back in the deck, and I kind of hope that these cards buy me time to get to something else cool. My opponent has kept on 7, which is terrifying. All right, not Wasteland. Cool. Okay, there's payoff. I think I will just drop Planar Nexus and pass here. Wasteland is great. I will float 3 mana. And now I will just do this. Let's make a spawn, scry, and draw a card. Yeah. I will say no to Bowmasters. I basically just want more mana now. That is not more mana. Ooh. Okay. I'm just going to go Ancient Tomb and pass here. I have sweet cards. I have no idea if I am going to be alive to use them. Not being able to play Metamorph out preemptively using my mana on this turn kind of hurts. But I'm not going to use it to make an Eldrazi spawn token. I don't think that is a good use of a card and 4 life. All right, Ancient Tomb. There is a Glaring Fleshraker. Scary Magic the Gathering card. No immediate follow-up. Basic Swamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. 5 is not 7. I'm going to go ahead and do this. A here. Phyrexian Metamorph. I think I'm going to make my own Glaring Fleshraker. My opponent's Glaring Fleshraker will be significantly better than mine. Mine just might be attempting to trade in combat with one of their creatures. Ugin is not an automatic win button versus my opponent's deck as well, since their creatures are colorless. Even their red creatures are devoid. Alright, Eye of Ugin is real bad. Yet that Heralds the End also means that my opponent's Glaring Fleshraker can attack into my Glaring Fleshraker. Oh no. I hate this. So this is 9 damage incoming. Let's assume that that's how I use my Phyrexian Metamorph, and it's just disappointing. Shame. 2, 3, 4. Well, this could be It's the same as playing Swamp. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm not to this stuff. I can cast Curse of Fool's Wisdom and die to Reality Smasher. Yeah, we just got run over before we could get anything going there. We did not get Reality... oh, what's the card's name? Curse of Misfortunes going in any of those games. GG's. One lander. Again. I lose my mind. Second hand can, I guess, cast some spells, kind of. I think I will keep this in hope that it improves, but I'm very unhappy playing this deck. This has been a beating, this league. I know we still might run positive, like we still might get the 60% or 3-2, but ugh, I think I am just playing the basic immediately. If I play Ancient Tomb, I can live the dream of playing this on turn 2, this on turn 3. Aw, now my opponent gets to see what's up. I imagine that I lose Bowmasters here as the only card that is remotely castable soon, but if my opponent doesn't have a counterspell for the curse, that might just need to go as being more powerful than the other things here. Alright, and it is the Bowmaster. I'm not surprised. Another curse. So, if I lose a land right now, I want to lose the Glimmerpost. Making this play means that I can't top deck another Ancient Tomb the following turn to be able to do Curse of Misfortunes. Cameo. Yes. Tapped land. Saying no to a Misty Rainforest. Ozilek's Command is something I can play that's not dazeable here. So I think I'm into that. Is the card better or is the spawn better? I think the spawn's better. We'll play this around days. Attempt to exile Tameo. Success. So next turn I have the mana for a Curse of Misfortunes. I would prefer to cast them around days. There's still timelines where this is just a Doomsday deck, and I do need to get the show on the road. There's an Orcish Bowmasters, presumably targeting my spawn. I will sacrifice the spawn so that my opponent does not get their Orc token. And I can use Eldrazi Confluence to kill Bowmasters. Yeah. I think I'm going to go for kill and make 2 spawns immediately. I want to kill this because things like Kaito exist that I don't want my opponent to turbo out. And if this eats a daze, like, look at my hand. It does eat a daze. So I had played around the daze the previous turn and tried to set myself up to play around the daze the next turn, but the Bowmaster fucked with that. Veil land again. Opponent says no to a daze. I will take 1. Karn. Where is Vault of Whispers? Alright. I will cast Karn. I can Tormod's Crypt immediately. I think I'm just going to minus and get Phyrexian Metamorph. Metamorph gets me my own copy of Walking Ballista. And assuming that Karn stays alive for a little while, that stops Tameo Clues from mattering. Tameo Planeswalker, still a little problematic. I have access to Disruptor Flute if I need it for if that happens. I also just don't want to die. Like, I have great cards in hand, but I am at 14 life already. It's Murktide. Yeah, no, I thought about Tormod's Crypt. My line did not work out there. I will Karn plus here, and then pass. Now it doesn't matter if I try to set up something like this. I don't know that I'm going to have time to get this down. All right. Now Tameo Clues get unlocked. Yeah, I think that Wasteland finished the job. The 1-2 punch of, like, the Murktide Regent that I did not, well, intentionally did not play around into Wasteland was real bad. All right, I'm going to say that that is our death. GG's. Let's assume that we're playing against Tempo, although honestly, our opponent could, I guess, still be Doomsday. I think the Wasteland is the indication that they are very, very, very likely Tempo. My cards are reasonable here. I don't know that I'm going to sideboard much, if anything. Chalices are fine, Trinispheres are fine. The various creature-based removal spells are fine. Eldrazi Confluence can blink a Murktide Regent. Disruptor Flute's okay. Toxic Deluge is okay. I think I'm just going to run back the main deck here. Alright. I have a reasonable hand if I don't get Wastelanded, and I feel dead if I do get Wastelanded. Cloudpost into Planar Nexus allows Trinisphere early. Otherwise, I have Bowmaster early. These cards are kind of clunkers in the short term. Hopefully, we'll be good long term. Alright, opponent kept on 6. Here's to hoping I don't get Wastelanded. Hey! Alright. Life's bad. I'm going to play Planar Nexus here, so that if I randomly spike the Tron land, I can still play Trinisphere next turn. Alright, did not get wastelanded again. Ooh. Is this goodbye Trinisphere or goodbye Bowmasters? It is goodbye Trinisphere. Alright, I am just going to play Sorcery Speed Bowmasters. The surprise is gone. It means that my opponent can Bowmasters my Bowmasters, but I think I just want to resolve this before my opponent can brainstorm in response to it. I have no castable cards in hand. Everything is bad. I will now lose probably one ring. No, I lost Kozilek's Command. Fuck. Alright. Come on, Bowmasters. Solo this whole last game. On your little shoulders. 2 damage. 13. Basic Island. Alright. We are now playing the Bowmasters game. You're going to Bowmasters my Bowmasters, and then I will draw a land, and I will Bowmasters your Bowmasters, and then our dead Bowmasters can kiss in the graveyard. The treat. Alright, goodbye. And Orcs trade. Now opponent's Brainstorm is unlocked before I have mana to Bowmasters. Another land drop comes down. Cameo comes down. That's bad. I might just lose if I don't draw a land this turn. Yeah. Now Tameo is active. My opponent can Surveil as well. Archetype Region is live. Okay, no Surveil. Take 1. Go to 18. Fetch. Dalthy Voidwalker. Yep. Alright. Well, everything just needs to go right for the rest of the game. Alright. Thing number 1 goes correctly. I Bowmaster my opponent's Bowmaster, making the way for the One Ring to do something cool. There's no colorless mana towards Kozilek's Command. Alright. Goodbye, One Ring. Maybe Kozilek's Command. I don't know. Kozilek's Command is so uncastable right now. Alright, opponent took Karn. I guess another consideration here, yeah, is what to do with Dalthy Voidwalker. The opponent can take the Karn, cast the Karn, then the One Ring is off. I don't know if they have any reasonable things to get with their sideboard. Yeah, they're just going to plus with it. Okay. Cameo going to hold back. Cameo is going to hold back. All right, well, I have no castable cards. Attack your face for 1 point of damage. Feed the cycle. Sure. You had that. Why is Tameo not attacking? Opponent to 9. Yeah. I think that Tameo should have just attacked. All right, sure. Now my opponent can just double crack clues and get Tameo Planeswalker. Let's kill Planeswalkers too. The other mode? Yes, it does. Alright. Tameo to 4. Karn to 7. Wasteland's annoying. Ugh, this sucks. I think we have maxed out on the entertainment value of this league. I could play Magic for a little while longer against active Tameo and active Wasteland, but I think we're not winning that one. Let's get out of here. GG's. Alright, overall thoughts on the deck list. Very bad. I regret playing this one. It 5-0'd, that inspired some degree of confidence, but this deck does not cast its spells consistently. I just do not think there is enough mana in the deck list, even counting Eldrazi Confluence as a partial mana source. I feel like the deck needs about 2 more lands or 2 more MDFCs to be functional from where it's at. I don't think this is better than existing Cloudpost decks. I will say, when we could actually cast this card, it did win the games. Like, I will say that much. This is a card that people were not necessarily ready to beat, and we did, win a game versus Show and Tell without casting a single spell, which was kind of cool. But, I just wish I had more mana. More lands, Grim Monoliths to, turbo me towards Curse of Misfortunes might have been fine. Just say, fuck the Bowmasters, play 4 Grim Monoliths, drop 1 Eldrazi Confluence, then your Ancient Tombs can turn into starts that play Curse of Misfortunes on turn 2, and I feel like the deck just instantly gets a lot better. Yeah, I think if you want to, like a crazy person, attempt to play this deck, I think that might be my starting point, is get Grim Monolith in here. The artifacts in the sideboard were fine. They were kind of cool for a wide variety of situations. There were 1 or 2 matchups where I felt like my in-out numbers didn't slot properly, but as is the case for any brew, that's often going to be true. But I think I give this one a thumbs down. I wanted the curses to be real. Unfortunately, I don't think they are. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.